Control wiring regulations generally share similar principles for both lighting and motor controllers, though slight variations may exist based on local jurisdictions. Smaller gauge wires, such as number 16 or number 14 THHN stranded or machine tool wiring, are permissible for control wiring within lighting and motor controllers, even when the main circuit handles a higher current, like 20 amps on a number 12 wire. This allowance stems from the fact that control wiring typically only carries a minimal amount of current necessary to operate relays or contactors. If the control wiring remains entirely within the enclosure, it does not need to match the gauge of the main circuit wiring. It is not regarded as part of that main circuit in such cases. However, if the control wiring extends beyond the confines of the enclosure, it then must adhere to the requirements of the main circuit, necessitating the use of number 12 wire or larger. A smaller control fuse is not always mandatory for safeguarding the control wiring, as the control circuit is typically already shielded by the fuse or breaker protecting the main circuit. That being said, certain jurisdictions might mandate a dedicated control fuse to provide additional protection for the control wiring itself. Therefore, for control wiring within lighting and motor controllers that does not bear the primary circuit load and stays within the enclosure, number 16 or number 14 THHN stranded or machine tool wiring is acceptable. A separate control fuse is not always necessary. The control wiring can be of a smaller gauge than the main circuit wiring. When dealing with electrical wiring, consider a few factors to make sure you do the job safely. Firstly, always de-energize the circuit before beginning any work. This means turning off the circuit breaker or removing the fuse that supplies power to the circuit you will be working on. Use a voltage tester to verify that the circuit is indeed energized before touching any wires. Secondly, use appropriately rated tools and equipment. Make sure your tools are insulated and in good condition. Use wire strippers and crimpers that are designed for the size of wire you are working with. Thirdly, follow the National Electrical Code, or NEC, and local electrical codes. These codes provide detailed guidelines for safe and proper wiring practices. Familiarize yourself with the relevant sections of the code before starting any electrical work. The NEC specifies the allowable ampacities for different wire sizes and insulation types. For example, number 14 AWG copper wire with THHN insulation is typically rated for 15 amps, while number 12 AWG copper wire with THHN insulation is rated for 20 amps, and number 10 AWG copper wire with THHN insulation is rated for 30 amps. These ampacities are based on the wire's ability to dissipate heat without exceeding its temperature rating. The NEC also provides guidelines for overcurrent protection, such as circuit breakers and fuses. The overcurrent protection device should be sized to protect the wire from overheating and causing a fire. For example, a 15 amp circuit breaker should be used with number 14 AWG wire, a 20 amp circuit breaker with number 12 AWG wire, and a 30 amp circuit breaker with number 10 AWG wire. The NEC also specifies the types of wiring methods that are permitted for different applications. For example, an M cable or non-metallic sheath cable is commonly used for residential wiring. ENT, or electrical metallic tubing, is often used for commercial and industrial wiring. When making connections, use appropriate connectors and terminals. Make sure the connections are tight and secure to prevent loose connections, which can cause arcing and overheating. Use wire nuts for splicing wires together, and use terminal blocks or lugs for connecting wires to equipment. When running wires, protect them from physical damage. Avoid running wires in areas where they could be easily damaged by impact or abrasion. Use conduit or other protective measures to protect wires in exposed locations. When working with control circuits, it is important to understand the difference between power circuits and control circuits. Power circuits carry the main load current, while control circuits carry only a small amount of current to operate relays, contactors, and other control devices. Control circuits often use smaller gauge wire than power circuits, as they do not need to carry as much current. However, control circuits still need to be protected from overcurrent and short circuits. A smaller control fuse is not necessarily required to protect control wiring. The control circuit is already protected by the fuse or breaker that protects the main circuit. However, some jurisdictions may require a separate control fuse to protect the control wiring itself. The control voltage should also be appropriate for the control devices being used. Common control voltages include 24 volts alternating current, 120 volts alternating current, and 24 volts direct current. When troubleshooting electrical circuits, use a systematic approach. Start by visually inspecting the circuit for any obvious problems such as loose connections, damaged wires, or blown fuses. Then, use a multimeter to measure voltages and currents at various points in the circuit to identify the source of the problem. When working with electrical equipment, always follow the manufacturer's instructions. The manufacturer's instructions provide detailed information on how to install, operate, and maintain the equipment safely and properly. If you are not comfortable working with electricity, it is best to hire a qualified electrician. Electricians have the training and experience to perform electrical work safely and in compliance with the electrical code. They can also troubleshoot and repair electrical problems. It's worth noting some of the common types of electrical enclosures. Firstly, NEMA 1 enclosures are intended for general-purpose indoor use, primarily to provide a degree of protection against contact with the enclosed equipment. Secondly, NEMA 3R enclosures are constructed for outdoor use to provide a degree of protection against rain, sleet, and snow. Thirdly, NEMA 4 and 4X enclosures are designed for both indoor and outdoor use and provide a degree of protection against splashing water, hose-directed water, and corrosion. NEMA 4X enclosures are typically made of stainless steel or fiberglass for enhanced corrosion resistance. When selecting a wire size, consider the ampacity requirements of the circuit, the ambient temperature, and the dirting factors for multiple conductors in a raceway. Use the NEC tables to determine the appropriate wire size for the application. When selecting a circuit breaker or fuse, consider the ampacity of the circuit and the interrupting rating of the device. The interrupting rating is the maximum fault current that the device can safely interrupt. Use the NEC guidelines to select the appropriate overcurrent protection device for the application. When making wire connections, use appropriate wire connectors and terminals. Make sure the connections are tight and secure to prevent loose connections, which can cause arcing and overheating. Use wire nuts for splicing wires together, and use terminal blocks or lugs for connecting wires to equipment. When running wires, support them properly to prevent strain on the connections. Use cable ties, clamps, or other support devices to secure the wires to the structure. Avoid running wires in areas where they could be easily damaged by impact or abrasion. Use conduit or other protective measures to protect wires in exposed locations. When working with electrical equipment, always wear appropriate personal protective equipment, including safety glasses, gloves, and insulated shoes. Avoid wearing jewelry or other metal objects that could come into contact with energized parts. When working in damp or wet locations, use ground fault circuit interrupters, or GFCIs, to protect against electric shock. GFCIs detect ground faults and quickly interrupt the circuit to prevent injury. When working with high voltage equipment, follow strict safety procedures and use specialized tools and equipment. High voltage work should only be performed by qualified and experienced personnel. When troubleshooting electrical problems, start by checking the simplest things first, such as the power source, circuit breakers, fuses, and connections. Use a systematic approach to isolate the problem and avoid unnecessary troubleshooting steps. When repairing electrical equipment, use only approved replacement parts. Using non-approved parts can compromise the safety and performance of the equipment. When making modifications to electrical systems, obtain the necessary permits and approvals from the local electrical inspector. The electrical inspector will ensure that the work is done in compliance with the electrical code. Always keep the electrical panels and equipment areas clear and accessible. Do not block access to electrical panels with storage or other obstructions. Label electrical panels and circuits clearly and accurately. This will help to identify circuits quickly and easily in the event of a problem. Maintain electrical equipment properly by performing regular inspections and maintenance. This will help to prevent problems and extend the life of the equipment. Keep electrical drawings and documentation up to date. This will help to understand the electrical system and troubleshoot problems effectively. When working with electricity, always be aware of the potential hazards and take the necessary precautions to protect yourself and others. Electricity can be dangerous, but it can be used safely if you follow the proper procedures and guidelines. The NEC is a comprehensive set of standards for electrical installations. It is updated every 3 years to reflect the latest advancements in electrical technology and safety practices. The NEC covers a wide range of topics, including wiring methods, overcurrent protection, grounding, and equipment installation. It is essential for electricians, electrical engineers, and anyone else who works with electricity to be familiar with the NEC. The NEC is not a law, but it is widely adopted by state and local governments as the basis for their electrical codes. Compliance with the NEC is essential for ensuring the safety of electrical installations. The NEC is organized into chapters, articles, and sections. Each chapter covers a specific area of electrical installations, such as wiring methods or overcurrent protection. Each article covers a specific topic within a chapter, such as conductors or circuit breakers. Each section provides detailed requirements for specific aspects of the topic. The NEC uses a numbering system to identify each section. For example, Section 300.4 covers protection against physical damage. The NEC also includes tables and examples to help clarify the requirements. The tables provide information on wire sizes, ampacities, and other technical data. The examples illustrate how to apply the requirements in specific situations. The NEC is a complex document, but it is essential for anyone who works with electricity to understand it. The NEC provides the guidelines for safe and proper electrical installations. One must be very careful when working with electricity. Before doing anything electrical, you need to turn off all power to the circuit at the breaker. You should double check to make sure the power is off before you proceed. Wear safety glasses and gloves. Also know where the closest electrical panel is.